Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers live streaming, swatting, and reasonable suspicion, and is brought to us by Law and Crime Network's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On August 8th, 2022, officers from the Cincinnati Police Department in Cincinnati, Ohio, responded to the home of YouTuber Darren Speed Watkins, who, as of the date of writing this episode, has 13.7 million subscribers, after law enforcement received a call from someone claiming that Mr. Watkins had a firearm and was going to hurt himself and his family. The ensuing interaction was captured on an officer's body camera.
Hey, how you doing? You alright? Come here real quick. Just turn around real quick, I'll explain. You're not in any trouble.
What the heck?
Come to the back.
Yo, bro. Hey.
Hold on, I'll tell you why.
Hey, what's going on?
Let's go talk. We're gonna talk.
Hey,
I'll tell you why. Good.
Whoa, let's go. Relax.
Come to the back.
Relax,
Come to the back.
Yo, get my phone, bro. Get my phone. Get my phone. It's right there. Let's go live, bro. Let's go live. Press it, bro. Right now, bro. We'll explain. Press public, bro. Press public. Real shit, bro. What is going on right now?
Come on, step over here. We're gonna talk with you.
Go live, bro. What did I do? Bro, press it, dude. Press done. What did I didn't do nothing, though.
No,
we're going to explain.
Can you take a minute, listen? Someone in your name called. Hear me out. You ready?
What did I do, bro?
You're gonna listen to me?
He's trying to explain it to you.
Yeah, we're gonna explain to him.
Bro, I didn't. Yo, bro. Oh my God, bro.
Let's
I
talk to
swear
him
I didn't
away
do
from
nothing, bro. Chill.
Away from
I
this
didn't
guy.
And we are going to explain. Oh my God. I don't care. Okay. What's going on?
Swatted. That's what that is. Y'all know what swatting is?
Yeah,
It happened to his boy Aiden last night.
Okay, so this is one of those silly things that people.
Yeah.
Well, and he didn't.
You
get
know who he
swatted,
is, right?
I don't know who he is. I don't know any of that.
Right now.
Okay.
I don't care about any
We
of
don't
that.
care
Well, I'm
about
just
any
letting
of
you know
that.
that's the situation. Like that.
Okay.
He got swat. That's what it is. Someone called him in. You can look on what.
No, I believe you. I believe that that's
We've
a thing.
been live for the past 2 hours.
Live doing what? Waiting for this to happen?
No. Breaking a PS4. He plays video games live on stream. Like I said, there's 100,000 people watching.
Okay.
That's what he does.
We're gonna shut that part down for right now.
There's a full-time. Don't turn it off. You don't got to do that.
We're gonna do that while we have a conversation.
Over the protests of Mr. Watkins' friend, the officer turns off the live stream on Mr. Watkins' phone while they discuss the situation. As we have discussed many times on ATA, the Supreme Court has not explicitly held that the First Amendment protects the right to film government officials performing their duties in public. However, based on relevant Supreme Court First Amendment precedent, 6 of the 12 U.S. courts of appeals have recognized a First Amendment right to film law enforcement officers while they are carrying out their official duties in a public place. Notably, the Sixth Circuit, which has jurisdiction over Ohio, is one of the 6 courts of appeals that have not yet acknowledged that filming the police is covered by the First Amendment. However, even in jurisdictions that have determined that recording law enforcement officers is protected speech, the issue as to whether the same safeguards apply to live streaming is largely unsettled. In the 2021 case of Sharp versus Winterville Police Department, the United States District Court for the Eastern District of North Carolina, which is part of the Fourth Circuit, a jurisdiction that has not recognized the First Amendment right to film the police, held that officers did not violate the First Amendment when they ordered Dejan Sharp, who was a passenger in a vehicle subject to a routine traffic stop, to stop live streaming the encounter. Claiming a safety issue, the officers told Mr. Sharp that he could film the interaction, but he could not simultaneously broadcast it. The court determined that, quote, assuming without deciding that the First Amendment entitled Sharp to record the traffic stop from inside the car during the traffic stop, the First Amendment did not entitle Sharp to live stream the traffic stop from inside the car during the traffic stop. And that, quote, in light of existing precedent and the differences between recording and live streaming from inside the stopped car during the traffic stop, the court rejects Sharp's argument that the First Amendment provided him a right to live stream a traffic stop from inside the stopped car. Mr. Sharp appealed this decision, and in early November 2022, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals heard arguments for the case. However, instead of focusing on the First Amendment implications of this case, it was reported that the judges' questioning seemed to center around whether or an officer can prevent an individual from live streaming without violating the Fourth Amendment prohibition on unreasonable seizures. As of the date of writing this episode, this case is still pending, and it will be interesting to see what the Fourth Circuit decides, and on what constitutional grounds it bases its decision.
Yo, chat. Spam L in the chat. They're making us turn it off. But we'll keep y'all updated. That's his mom calling him. His phone, hold on.
Well, his dad's out front. We're talking. Yeah, we're talking to his dad out front.
I'm just his cameraman. That's all I am. But he lives in Miami. Same thing happened to him last night. There's something going on right now. They're swatting. It's a thing that people do. They find that his address has been leaked.
Well, somebody got killed doing that. Now,
Yeah.
where was that? That was.
That's why he's freaking out, because he knows the risk of it.
Yeah, that's. So you're saying somebody
Oh, I know for
called
sure.
us
Yeah, I know for sure.
with some BS.
Yeah, and if you don't believe me, you can. We literally just ended a live stream. He's been streaming for the past 3.5 hours, 2 hours, 3.5 hours.
Okay.
You can see everything he's done for the past 2.5 hours.
Okay.
So,
Do me a favor. You can walk out here with us.
yeah.
Leave your phone there for now. Well, here, I'll carry it for you so you don't.
Mr. Watkins' friend explains to the officers that Mr. Watkins has been, quote, swatted, and offers to show them footage from Mr. Watkins' live stream from the last few hours. Generally, swatting involves fake emergency calls claiming that a violent crime is about to take place or is already in progress, with the goal of provoking a significant police response, often including the deployment of special weapons and tactics, or SWAT teams, to the home of the individual being swatted. A large portion of the swatting incidents that occur involve individuals such as Mr. Watkins, who engage in online gaming and live streaming. Swatting can typically be prosecuted under Section 2917.32 of the Ohio Revised Code, which makes it a crime to, quote, report to any law enforcement agency an alleged offense or other incident within its concern, knowing that such offense did not occur. However, if the state legislature passes pending legislation House Bill 462, it would create a separate offense that specifically addresses swatting. The proposed text states that, quote, no person by means of a telecommunications device or telecommunications service shall purposely trigger an emergency response when no emergency response is warranted by reporting or causing to be reported false or misleading information to a law enforcement agency, emergency service provider, or public safety answering point. Whoever violates this section is guilty of swatting. Additionally, many swatting incidents can be prosecuted under federal law. For instance, Section 1038 of Title 18 of the United States Code prohibits engaging, quote, in any conduct with intent to convey false or misleading information, under circumstances where the information may reasonably be believed or where the information indicates that certain criminal activity has taken place, is taking place, or will take place, including homicide or attempted homicide. Likewise, Section 875 of Title 18 of the United States Code prohibits interstate threats, stating that, quote, whoever transmits in interstate or foreign commerce any communication containing any threat to injure the person of another shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 5 years, or both. Without knowing the exact details of where the caller in this situation was located and what they explicitly said, it is challenging to know which particular crimes they could be charged with for swatting Mr. Watkins. Still, it seems likely that the individual responsible for Mr. Watkins' swatting could be prosecuted for the violation of at least one of these statutes.
Listen to me. Someone called a 911 center and said, with your name, that you wanted to hurt your family and hurt yourself. So we came to make sure you're okay.
All right, just listen to me.
Okay.
I am a popular streamer. I am a YouTuber, okay?
Come on.
I have 10... Let me talk.
So guess what?
Okay, hold on,
If you're
wait.
good, you may be out of these cuffs, but
Okay.
relax.
Okay.
We're on your side.
All right.
We're here to make sure you're not going to harm yourself. Right?
All right.
Now,
just-
people
all right.
dox people, right?
Oh, yeah. All right,
Okay, so
look,
maybe that's
let me
it.
talk, okay?
Come on.
I am a popular streamer. I have 10 million subs. You know what a streamer is, right?
Sure, I guess. Okay, so tell us about the streamer. What'd you say?
I
Did you
didn't
say,
do nothing.
were you trying to be funny?
No, I didn't do nothing.
Well, apparently someone called a help center out in Iowa and said, and I want to kill myself, my family.
No,
and
he's
everybody."
lying. It's
Just hear me out.
obviously a lie. It's a lie.
Well,
okay?
we're here to make sure, right?
Oh, yes.
Because of school shootings, right?
Yes,
Be on my side.
yeah.
Work with me. All right, well, let's put you in the car, and then guess what?
Oh, all right. This is just I'm trying to calm down, but it's like
overwhelming, right?
Yeah, it's just a streamer's like it's a streamer's like.
You think they tried to, like, trick you?
Yeah, this is streamer's like. They call somebody called.
I know y'all been drinking
I
my
know.
house.
Are you-
Exactly.
Drinking my house.
I just told him that. Exactly. I keep telling him I'm a famous
We're just trying to
YouTuber.
figure it out right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really that much to. Exactly. This is a prank call. I keep telling y'all. I can't really explain it to y'all because I'm probably older, but you know, it's just like, you know what Twitch is? Twitch, YouTube.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, you know, I'm famous, you know, and I'm popular, you know. And
they're probably upset, jealous, or something like
yeah,
that.
no, there's just trolls. Like, it's just common trolls.
Well, this was pretty serious.
I know, but it's a call.
That's why we got to do our job.
The officers handcuff Mr. Watkins and place him in the back of one of the cruisers. Although the line between a reasonable suspicion-based Terry stop and a probable cause-based arrest can be confusing, courts have consistently held that in some situations, officers may use restrictive methods such as handcuffing and placing a suspect in a police vehicle during a Terry stop without converting it into a full-blown arrest. However, it is uncertain in this situation whether the officers even had the requisite reasonable suspicion required to be able to constitutionally detain Mr. Watkins in any way. As the Supreme Court explained in the 1972 case of Adams versus Williams, quote, "Informants' tips, like all other clues and evidence coming to a policeman on the scene, may vary greatly in their value and reliability. One simple rule will not cover every situation. Some tips, completely lacking in indicia of reliability, would either warrant no police response or require further investigation before a forcible stop of a suspect would be authorized. But in some situations, for example, when the victim of a street crime seeks immediate police aid and gives a description of his assailant, or when a credible informant warns of a specific impending crime, the subtleties of the hearsay rule should not thwart an appropriate police response." Relying in part on this decision, the Supreme Court determined in the 1990 case of Alabama versus White that although an anonymous tip alone seldom justifies a Terry stop, when sufficiently corroborated, it can exhibit, quote, "sufficient indicia of reliability to furnish reasonable suspicion that the suspect was engaged in criminal activity and justify an investigatory stop." However, the Supreme Court also held in the 2000 case of Florida versus JL that an anonymous tip that an individual was carrying a gun was insufficient on its own to justify a police officer's stop and frisk of that person. The court explained that, quote, "the tip in the instant case lacked the moderate indicia of reliability present in White and essential to the court's decision in that case. The anonymous call concerning JL provided no predictive information and therefore left the police without means to test the informant's knowledge or credibility. All the police had to go on in this case was the bare report of an unknown, unaccountable informant who neither explained how he knew about the gun nor supplied any basis for believing he had inside information. Given the highly fact-specific level of analysis required for this type of determination and the limited and conflicting details we have about the individual who called 911 and what he said, it is nearly impossible to predict what a court would decide in this situation. However, if the tip was made anonymously and did not include any information besides Mr. Watkins' name and address, it seems likely that a court would conclude that the officers did not have the reasonable suspicion to detain him without additional corroborating evidence.
I've never been in the cup one in my life, man.
I'm sure you don't have anything on you.
Oh, I'm about to kill myself. I'm straight.
I know. We just got to do our job.
You his mom?
Please, they prank in my house.
Are you
Like,
his mom?
Yes,
Okay,
they prank our house all the time.
Okay. Well, let us figure it out.
Oh my God,
we were
y'all,
concerned.
this got to stop. No, y'all taking my son over.
No, we're not
people
taking
to keep
him.
pranking my son.
Well-
y'all got him in handcuffs right now.
Well,
Y'all
we're going
gonna
to make
get
sure he
down to
doesn't
this.
want to harm
Go
himself.
no, he ain't gonna harm himself.
All
Go in our house
we'll be
right
there.
now.
Here, I'm on your side. I got 5
Let me
kids.
calm. Hold
Okay,
on.
calm down first.
Because you
Then
got my
talk to
son in handcuffs for no reason. Right
Well, come talk to us so we can let him out of cuffs.
now. He's
but
about to go with us.
But because of school shootings, we take it
I
serious.
understand that he's not about to kill nobody. These is constant pranks. Constant pranks.
Hey, Sarge, this is his mom, and
The police are surrounding my house right now.
is that what they're doing, pranking you guys and stuff?
Swatting. It happened to
He's
his boy.
he's in handcuffs.
Okay, that's what I
You know
actually.
Aiden, right, Tiff?
Yeah, I know Aiden.
It happened to Aiden last night. Same thing.
Same thing.
We were worried about you.
Who said that?
It
How
was
do
from
they
a
know? How do they?
helpline. They had your address, his name, his
These
everything.
people was pranking. Y'all gonna have to figure this out. Y'all gonna have to figure it.
I explained to them the SWAT. They're
Let's get him unhooked.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to me, it's hard to really explain, tell y'all what's really going on.
The officers eventually determined that Mr. Watkins had been swatted and did not pose an actual threat, and they released him from the back of the vehicle. It is unclear whether Mr. Watkins intends to file a complaint or take any legal action against the officers involved. As of the date of this episode, the individual who swatted Mr. Watkins has not been publicly identified. Overall, the Cincinnati officers get a C Because although they were not overly aggressive in their demeanor, they repeatedly talked over Mr. Watkins instead of listening to him, and used unnecessarily restrictive detention methods on Mr. Watkins, even after several individuals had explained that this was an instance of swatting. While I appreciate that the officers did not use physical force or otherwise escalate the situation, there was absolutely no reason to handcuff Mr. Watkins and place him in the back of the police cruiser once they confirmed he did not have a weapon on his person, as Mr. Watkins remained cooperative and non-violent throughout the encounter, and by the time they put him in the cruiser, at least 2 different individuals had confirmed that the call was made by a swatter and there was no legitimate threat. The officers repeatedly demonstrated that they did not understand what swatting was, for instance, by making comments implying that Mr. Watkins had made the call himself as a prank. And although I understand that they may not have dealt with this issue before in Cincinnati, Ohio, I would encourage them to educate themselves on the subject, considering how prevalent it has become in the field of modern policing. Mr. Watkins gets an A for maintaining a relatively calm demeanor throughout the encounter, exercising patience while the officers attempted to understand the situation, and expressing his disagreement with the officers' overly restrictive methods of detention. While I do not have enough information to make an informed assessment of the constitutionality of the officers' actions, it is certainly feasible that they violated Mr. Watkins' rights by detaining him, handcuffing him, and placing him in the police cruiser, potentially without reasonable suspicion. I commend Mr. Watkins for making rational decisions when faced with an unforeseen, frightening situation, and although he could have expressed a stronger dissent to his restrictive detention, I certainly understand why he chose to simply comply in this situation. Finally, the swatter gets an F for senselessly placing Mr. Watkins and his family in potential danger, wasting community resources on a prank, diverting law enforcement officers away from protecting against actual crime, and likely committing state and federal criminal offenses. Swatting is not only illegal, but it can also be deadly, and multiple people have been killed during various swatting incidents. Contrary to what some individuals believe, swatting is not a harmless prank, and I would strongly urge the swatter to reconsider any plans they have to SWAT again in the future. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out my second channel for even more police interaction content.